This episode of Jump Off Point is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the Boss Rush family of podcasts, head to bossrush.net or our Patreon at patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for helping us build something better.
Hello everybody, welcome to Jump Off Point here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited Eddie V. Joining me is the wise Wisconsinite himself, Mr. Jesse Douglas. Hello, good sir.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going really good. We have the wise Wrestle Knight, Mr. Josh Martinez. Hello, good sir.
Hello, I'm coming down off of WrestleMania weekend, so it's been a lull since Sunday.
And everybody, we have a very special guest. Now, I know some of you guys have a big backlog that you need to bust, and this dude is here to help us with that. I have known this person probably around 3 or 4 years. We met through Twitter and everything, and he's all around amazing. Everybody, from the Backlog Busters, please welcome my good friend Matt, or aka Skinny Matt.
Hey, I go by either. I've been called worse. It's all good. How you all doing tonight? Cheers.
Doing good. I get on Skinny Matt because sometimes, I send him some swoons. He have his hair looking good. I'm like, okay, Matt.
I clean up good when I have to. It's all good.
So, we are going to get into this great episode because I'm excited to find out what trending topics each of you guys chose. I'm so excited. But before we get into that, what's jumping? So what's jumping, Matt, in your games and what you've been watching? What one game are you playing, or what one TV show you're watching or movie?
The game I'm playing now is a game where about 2-3 weeks ago I played the demo on Switch. I pre-ordered it, and I started finally playing on Xbox. Actually, last night I wanted to play it this weekend, as I finally started playing in Dredge. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that game. Everyone's talking about how, horror games, playing Resident Evil 4 Remake. No, Dredge is the horror game to play. It is the survival horror fishing game that you didn't know you needed to play.
Wait. Fishing? How's that working?
It's very Lovecraftian, if you will, in the horror, like the whole Eldritch horror and the unknown. I got further in the demo than I am in the game right now, but basically, long story short, you're a fisherman and your boat, you wrecked your boat, like this fog came in, you wrecked. It seems kind of, odd about that, but so the mayor comes to the town, and the mayor's like, hey, we'll give you a boat, and you just got to pay us back the loan, so as you catch fish, you sell them back. So basically, it's just a lot of the unknown, and they say, like, don't go out past night, because when it's nighttime, you can start kind of you start panicking or losing your sanity in a sense. Rocks start showing up in the middle of nowhere. You can catch different fish that have like 4 eyes instead of 2. But what's really crazy about this game is when you're fishing, because it's about 6 o'clock at night is when it becomes nighttime, quote unquote. But like when you catch an odd fish that's a different creature, the fishmonger loves it. He gets all into it. But there's this weird piano chime that plays. It just kind of sends a little chill down your spine. It's not scary. It's just creepy and unsettling the whole time. So I don't even know where to go, because even playing the demo had an issue where it was getting at night and these red-eyed birds came and stole, they started stealing my ship off my fish off my ship, because you're actually just in a boat. You go to the spot, fish, and I don't know. There's something relaxing about the fishing, but it's just so unsettling about the game. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's any questions? I mean,
You know what that sounds like, Matt? That sounds like a game that lulls you into relaxation and then gets you scared. Because games can jump out and scare you, but if they're lulling you into a sense of security and then getting you, man, that sounds like that's terrifying. I'm a baby for horror games, so I don't even want to go near that one.
Yeah, I can't play Resident Evil 4. I mean, I remember playing the original Silent Hill. That's probably the last horror game I got through, and that's been what? Dating myself here. That was probably about 23 years ago last time I played that. So, um, but yeah, it's like I said, I wouldn't say it's scary. It's unsettling. You know, like one of my favorite games is Oxenfree because of how the mood it
Mhm.
puts you in. It's just unnerving. This is unnerving because even with the art style, it's an indie game. I think it runs about $25 on everything. It's on everything: Steam, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation. But like, it's it's just unnerving. The art style is like beautiful, but somewhat disturbing when you see because with the mayor how he looks. There's you end up finding this fish and it's got the fishmonger pulls something out of it and it's like a handkerchief, so you have to go take it to this other guy at this other island, and it's just they kind of make him a little creepy, every character. It's I don't know, it's just I just highly recommend it. I don't even know how to explain it
It's
because
it's going on
try
a lot
put
of
it this way,
people's.
try the demo on Switch. Go
Yeah,
down the go download the demo and give it a shot. See what you think.
a lot of people
Okay.
are putting it on their Game of the Year nominations. Like
It's
people who love horror games and thriller stuff, it's going on their list. A lot of people are enjoying it.
like I said, I'm not that far into it, and it has me hooked, no pun intended, with the fishing. But like, it's just I don't know. From playing the demo and playing for maybe about 2 hours last night, it's already made my short list.
Okay, Jesse, what's jumping in your gaming or TV watching?
So I've actually been playing Resident Evil 4 remake, and
Oh,
The other
I'm
scary game that came out.
yeah, I'm not super far in it. I just got to the point of where you meet the vendor or the guy selling stuff.
the
I
Resident
mean
Evil merchant.
it's yeah, it's a couple. I mean it's a couple. It took me a little while to get there, but so far I like it a lot. It definitely I think they did a good job of recapturing that moment when you go into the village and and like the whole entire village comes at you and they basically like they just keep swarming you until you're almost like out of like ammo and all that stuff, and then something happens, and then it's kind of I won't say much more, like, but something kind of happens, and then
You
to
know I have a
continue the
beef with
story.
you.
You know how old
You
that
now
game
know
is?
you know I have a beef with you now.
Why?
Be-
Why?
because you told me that you hated Resident Evil 4. So
Yeah,
hearing that you like this remake, I'm like,
because
it's the
yeah,
same thing.
no, it ain't. It's better. It's
I
better.
mean, there's some
No,
improvements, but Resident Evil
yeah,
4 is really good. It's a classic game. So how did you hate 4 and you're loving remake?
because the whole point of why I didn't like 4 was like the controls and stuff. A lot of that stuff like was just I didn't like it. I did not like the controls in that original. But this remake, like everything is fixed. Like everything, all my issues that I had with the original are fixed in my opinion. And it just feels like the newer games, but you're reliving that story. Because like I've said to you, I've even told you that the story wasn't the problem with that game. Like
Hmm.
I liked the story. Like even though I at the time I wasn't a fan of it being crazy people versus being zombies.
Yeah.
Like I after I played through the original, I did like the story. It was just I did not like the controls of and just how I played the game. So like yeah, so this version of it is definitely better for me in my opinion. Whereas I'll be honest, I think I like the original version of 3 better than I like the remake
Is it more because
for
of the
some
tank
reason.
controls?
Yeah, I don't
That
know.
look
I I don't know. Like the original 3, I think it's just like the way that everything was set up. I think I liked it a little bit better, but it's not much better, honestly. But because I'll be honest, 3 in general, I really wasn't a big fan of. Like I like that was probably my least. Like coming off of 2, it was really really hard to to do better than 2 in my opinion. So I think, and so maybe it's just my own bias because because like 2 is still today is my favorite. Like 2
4
is
is
still
my favorite.
So I'm a Resident Evil newbie. I've never played a game before.
Yeah.
Is this 4 remake a good starting point if you've never played a game before?
Yeah. Well.
Well,
I
that
mean,
depends.
I would go with the 2 remake personally, but
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it I wouldn't say don't do the remakes. I would actually say you have to go through Resident Evil 1, the original. Like I think you need to play the original ones because you have more story and understanding. Yeah, the controls are whatever it is, but that was what the controls were at that time, that era. To get a full sense of it, you need to play the original ones because the remakes, like two, you're missing 65% of the game in 2 because you're not getting all the stuff that led up to the police station and the remake. And then if you do 3, 3 is supposed to be running while 2 is happening. So to understand why those 2 games are happening, you need to play Nemesis. And then I
So
think
they're
if you
not standalone then. They're not completely standalone?
No,
no,
it's
no.
like 2.
one
So the character in 2 that you play in 2 is the character that you play as in 4.
and 4,
So
Okay.
yeah,
so if you were to play 2 and then play 4, I think you would be all right. Because yes, 1 and 3 are other characters, and like I mean, you kind of get the gist of it. The world's been run over by zombies, and they kind of talk about the viruses and stuff in 2 enough that I think you can skip 1 if you want to. If
you
you
gotta
really
play
don't
1.
want. Well, yeah, but I mean,
But you're
it's
not gonna
not really.
Oh,
but you're not gonna get the campiness. You're not gonna understand. You was a jail sandwich. Like you're not gonna get any of that stuff. And to
Yeah.
understand why Resident Evil is straight camp, you need to play the original.
is
The
there actually a good
original
way to
one.
play the original one now?
Yes,
Is it
I
on the
think so.
PlayStation Store?
It
Honestly,
may
the best.
be.
Honestly, the best way to play the original one is to play it on a DS. With
Really?
Oh
they
Forgot
no.
about that.
the DS port was amazing.
I
Like, and you
forgot.
use the stylus to
Mm.
swipe with your knife. It was actually a really really good port. I think.
See,
I
I
think it's
own
my
Resident.
favorite version of it.
I own Resident Evil 1 when PlayStation had the big cardboard boxes
Hmm.
as cases. And so I had the original intro and
Yeah.
everything that
But see,
came with
the
it.
director's cut version is basically, I think, what's ported on the DS. I think it's
Okay.
basically the director's cut version, but
Mm.
it just has the ability to swipe your knife using your stylus instead
Yeah.
of
Okay.
just pushing a button.
Well,
So
and that's probably pretty accessible for myself because I still use my 3DS, and I know that's backwards compatible with DS.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
I mean that's what I love my 3DS. That's such a good console to find old DS games as well as 3DS games.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean I'm so used to games like Legend of Zelda or Final Fantasy where you can hop into any game and not really need to know what happened previously. So I just
Hmm.
and I think I've mentioned this previously. I'm new to Sony. I've only had Nintendo consoles growing up, so I've missed out on
Okay.
stuff. And I know Resident Evil 4 was on the GameCube
Hmm.
originally, but
Hmm.
yeah, I just never got into those. So yeah, I'm looking to try them out and thinking
Resident
of
Evil
trying it.
2 was on the N64. So
I know. I get apparently I just missed that chip.
that was
But
the best way to play it. Resident Evil
but
2 was N64.
in fairness to myself, Ed, I was born in '91. I don't think my parents are going to let me touch
Oh,
Resident Evil. I'm sorry, guys.
I feel so old. I feel
I
so
I
old.
just I
Why?
just saw Matt's soul leave his body when I said I was born in '91.
I was 11 years old in 91.
I was too.
So
Yeah, I'm one of those late millennials who grew up with the Jackass and Viva La Bam stuff in middle school. So there's a flashback from 2002.
well, is that all, Jesse, that you've been playing? That's your one game?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean
Okay.
that night I was catching up. I'm trying to catch up on Euphoria, that TV show.
Mhm.
That's pretty good. It's different. It's a little rough to watch, but it's a good show.
All right. Well, Josh, what's jumping in your gaming or your TV watching?
Yeah, so I'm not going to go over everything because I've kind of adopted this buffet style right now where I'm playing 5 different games just in little spurts. But the one I've been really hooked on lately, as I mentioned, I'm new to PlayStation, so I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, I'm having a blast. It is so. I'm at this part. So first off, for whatever reason, I thought the whole game took place back east for some reason. I know it's like a dystopian future, all that stuff, but it takes place right in my backyard, like Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, like that whole southwest area. And I'm like, so I'm in the section that's like the desert, and I'm like, I lived here when I went to college. I lived in southern Utah, so it's been cool to see all that. And but no, the gameplay's fun. And I don't know. It's been a great game to get me first on there. And then the other one, just because of my wrestling obsession, I've been playing WWE 2K23. That's been I'm so mad at
Nice.
John Cena right now. So they have this showcase mode where the cover star basically you go through their career and you play in matches that they did over their career. Well, this year it's John Cena, but the twist of it is that Cena is your opponent. You're playing as the people he lost to at big points in his career. So, like, the first one was Rob Van Dam in 2006 at pay per view. The next one was John Cena's debut in 2002 with Kurt Angle. And so I've got to play John Cena at these regular times, and boy, is he kicking my butt sometimes. I'll get some combos going, and then all of a sudden he just hits me with a bunch of attitude adjustments, and then I'm mad and cursing out John Cena. But now that game's pretty fun. It's even if you're not a wrestling fan, it's a fun fighting game. It's a really fun fighting game. You can know nothing about wrestling and just have fun with the fighting aspect of it. So
I used to literally buy them just to make people. Like literally, I never played the game. I just would create people, try to create like, celebrities or other wrestlers from like other factions that aren't in WCW or WWE or whatever.
right. Well, I'm
Yeah.
tempted to do like a Royal Rumble where I make everybody on the Boss Rush a
Oh,
staff,
nice. Yeah.
and just make them go like just every minute a new Boss Rush member comes in, and then we see who wins. But
Oh,
I I'm working on a review for Boss Rush on this game, so I probably won't do that yet. But um, I'm like maybe that's a good idea. I might try and do that. I just got to find the time to do that. But um, and then last, I've been watching The Mandalorian. That's been a lot of fun.
Boy, don't
all
get me
right.
started.
Well, for
Sorry, I haven't
me,
started that season yet.
well, for
Oh no,
me,
I won't say anything.
I just finished Spec Ops: The Line. Um, enjoyed that game. I don't like the ending. I don't like how that game ended. It's a very distorted ending. I'm just like, I understand y'all killing off the people, your help, and then getting to whatever point, and it just felt so weird, for an ending and stuff. So, but I finally beat it. I've been wanting to beat this game, so I persisted, um, and then deleted it off my Xbox, like uninstalled it because it was just like there's nothing. I've seen all the endings on YouTube, so there's like really nothing else to see about it. And I kind of put out there just like this would be a good game to get remastered and put on Switch. I think Spec Ops: The Line, if it looked better, because I know it's the 360 PS3 days, and like everything is brown and it's hard to see the enemies. I'm like, if you give this some good polish and some color, and you make the enemies a little bit more visible, I think Spec Ops: The Line would sell literally better than what it did in the past. I think more people would definitely play it, and then taking it on the go on Switch. Oh heck yeah! I'm like, it's not a hard. It shouldn't be a hard game to port or anything. So, I finished that. I'm trying to figure out what my next game should be. So and that was on Xbox. So I'm trying to figure out that I am playing Road 96. I did start that on Xbox, but I'm about to hop
The new
back
one or the
into.
original one? Sorry.
Oh, which
The
one?
the Road 96, the original one or the new one that's did the new one just come out or is that coming
Yeah, the
out?
DLC one just came out. I'm playing the
DLC, okay.
original one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing the original one. Because for Talk the Walk, we're waiting for Coffee Talk episode 2. So that's gonna drop. We're gonna pick, some of us are picking it up and gonna play it. And then we're not gonna do the recording until June. And the only reason why I'm pushing it to June because Tears of the Kingdom come out. Like, dude, I got Redfall next month. I got Tears of the Kingdom. There's another game that's dropping next month that I'm gonna get into. But I'm trying to get I got to get ready for Redfall. Before Tears of the Kingdom came out. Oh, Advance Wars when the 2 comes out this month. So I got to try to get into that and everything. So, like, my game level stuff is going to be packed. And then we got to figure out what are we doing this summer. Because we don't have E3, but we have a lot of showcases in the Summer Game Fest. Ugh, goodness. I told Corey I need some alcohol so I can drink myself to sleep when I watch that show.
I can make some recommendations here.
Man, I swear that Summer Game Fest is going to be a mess. Because last year it was all about space and galaxy, and it's just like, Keely, you're not gonna ask them to give you no kind of gameplay and everything looks the same? Come on now. Do I gotta go another year with this?
And it's gonna take 3.5 months to get through everything.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
Exactly. So that is my plan. Good stuff. But everybody, it's time for Point It Out. So Jesse, I'm gonna start with you. What is the one trending topic on Twitter that you would like to talk? Now, everybody, just to let you know, when pointing out, no one knows each other's topic until that person talks about it right now. So, Jesse, start it off.
Okay. So, Nike has been trending. So I picked that because I was interested in, why Nike was, because I'll be honest, I didn't even know why it was trending until I was looking into it. So Nike was trending because they picked a trans influencer, Dylan Mulvaney, to basically be the new face of the women's sports bra, and be like the head of the women's athletic stuff, I guess, and for Nike. And of course, a lot of people have been getting pissed off. A lot of women being like, getting mad, saying, "Oh, you're removing women," and blah blah blah, and the internet is just going crazy over it. And Dylan also was the head, or is a spokesperson for Bud Light as well. And Kid Rock, I guess, made a video of him buying a whole bunch of Bud Light and then shooting it with a machine gun or with like what is like a submachine gun or whatever, and then basically telling Bud Light to F off, and like it just basically the whole entire anyone who's Republican that's paying attention to it is basically just outraged. And I give I give Bud Light and Nike a lot of credit. The fact that they look at all this and they're just like, yeah, we're not going to change it. We're sticking with what we're doing. We believe in it. We're trying to target a group of people that we don't, obviously Bud Light is like, it's not really, that's not really their demographic normally. So, so that they're targeting something different. And I think it's interesting. So I just kind of, want
It's
to, brought that up because I was just kind of curious.
once again, Kid Rock is an idiot. Why would you?
Well,
Why would you put money into a company that you're trying to boycott and show off? Like you just spent probably about $300 some dollars out of it. In fact, I don't know how much money he actually has, since his career is, I guess, non-existent, or he's just there.
well,
Um,
no, it exists. It's just
It's there.
it's yeah, it's just he's like a lot of you know uh musicians and stuff. They stick to their audience. It's very similar in some ways to Insane Clown Posse. I mean, they're not for everyone, but and fun fact, Kid Rock was on their first album. Insane Clown Posse's first album.
gross.
They did a song together originally that eventually got removed off of their original album later on when they kind of had a beef with one another. But Insane Clown Posse's producer actually produced his very first album, Kid Rock's first album. So like yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's just he targets his audience. He knew exactly what he was doing in making that video of shooting the beer, because he
But
knew
it's
that
just
his audience.
Did anybody notice how high he looked in that too?
Yeah, he looked pretty bad
this is
in
what I
it.
don't understand. It's just like you got all this money, or I guess, and you're still looking like a redneck. Like you still looking bummish. I'm like, come on, dude. It's 2023. Like, come, like, get the
But that's
appearance
his
together.
character. That's his
That's
character,
him though.
though.
I don't know.
I mean,
That's what he's known as.
that's fine, but I'm just like, come on now. You mean to tell me that you invested a lot of money to shoot some Bud Light, but you can't spend that same amount of money to like get your hair fixed, get a nice looking outfit. Like
Yeah, but Ed, have you
you're
seen
supposed to.
Machine Gun Kelly? Have you seen some of these guys out there?
Well, Machine Gun Kelly is after Eminem destroyed Machine Gun Kelly. You see him go into a whole other career.
We
Yeah, but how
call
much
him.
Bud Light did he buy? Like 3 cases? That was only like $50.
Yeah,
Still, that $50 could have been used to cut his hair, to like put on a new outfit. Like, come on, dude, it's 2023.
Could
You're
have bought him
supposed
some
to
better
be
pot.
looking better.
yeah.
Like, come. Ooh.
Well, but how his demographic is though too. If he changes, they'll probably hate on him. They'll tell him that he sold out or that he, like.
Who's this demographic? Because I don't know any fans of Kid Rock.
Well, I
Anyone
don't know
who's
any, but all I know is where I went to school. A week ago, they announced he was the headliner for some concert in Youngstown this summer, some concert
Yeah.
series. So,
he's kind of stepped into politics, and basically anyone who is like far, like way out there
All right.
Republican, yeah. Basically that's his demographic, is anyone, people who believe that like the earth is flat, and like things, people like that, those kind of people that
This is the same thing with like the Campbells, with Cheerios, with um the holiday Hallmark stuff when the two ladies were getting married with the ring and it's just like, what is all this outrage going to what's all this outrage? Like what benefit do you get? Because people are still gonna purchase those items. They're trying to show how their product is for everyone, and it's just like, you boycotted because you don't like it. That doesn't do nothing. Because you don't like it, well, fine, you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. Everybody else who do like it is going to buy it. These are companies. They don't care if you like it or not. They care about seeing a sale, a
Money
sale that's
talks with companies.
consistent. If you buying this alcohol so you can shoot it, they don't care. You gave us money to do something stupid.
Exactly.
We making good business moves because, first of all, we have your money that you can't get back because you want to try to make a point for what?
If
We-
anyone wanted to boycott something, though, wouldn't it just be more effective to just boycott it? Don't buy it to shoot it. I mean, I remember there was people boycotting Carhartt for requiring vaccinations for their employees. They bought Carhartts and burned it, and I'm like, yeah, bought stuff. It kind of defeats
Yeah.
the purpose.
You did that with Nike stuff. I'm like, you wasn't even using this Nike stuff for the purpose that it was. There's no way that I'm gonna get some running shoes from Nike and burn it. When's the last time you ran? You was 200 some plus pounds. You could barely run to your mailbox without huffing and puffing. Let's stop with all of this nonsense.
Man, Ed's got the
Yeah.
fire tonight.
Because
Wow, tell us how you really feel.
because it's so ridiculous that it is 2023. You mad that because these companies going with gay people, with lesbians, going with trans, they're trying to be more inclusive. Because me and Jesse was talking about this for our pilot episode. I was just like, stop seeing people for their sexuality and see them for being human. If a person is trans and they are, want to do a sponsorship and stuff, let them. That's them. That's their business.
Yeah.
I don't
most
see.
I
Okay.
I look at it this way. Most people are like, to have like the ability to have like confidence in yourself to even do something like this in the first place. Like even as just just someone who's born a female who like consider like considers himself female and stuff. So like to be transgender and put yourself out there like that, I mean that like that in itself, in my opinion, is like a good message to other people who maybe aren't as openly able to express themselves or be themselves in the out in the open like that. So like I think there's a lot more to it than just they put a trans person just to check off some box. It's not
Mhm.
it's not about that. It's I think there's more to it. But I
Matt,
think that's
Josh,
a
any
lot of
thoughts?
times what people try to do is they try to just claim that it's just checking off a box and that's all they're doing it for. But
Matt, Josh, any thoughts?
I will say I'm a little surprised. I totally forgot about the whole Kid Rock thing, but I thought Nike would be trending for that Matt Damon movie where he's like a
oh
Nike exec trying to sign like a rookie Michael Jordan. So when Jesse brought that up, I'm like, oh, I'm getting ready to talk about Michael Jordan and everything. And no, it's just it's just Kid Rock, and now Ed going off on Kid Rock's long hair, saying, "Get a haircut."
It's just it's high class nonsense. That's what it is.
No, I mean, I agree, and I sit in the camp of I think representation is always good. I mean, me being I'm a Hispanic young man, and it's out here in the Southwest. It can be kind of rough. I mean, all this talk of border walls and we need to secure the border from invasions that impacts me directly because I live very close to that. Living in Arizona, a state that at one time had a law that made it legal for a cop to pull you over on suspicion of immigration solely because of your skin color. It's nonsense, and that was just something that we dealt with last decade. So I think putting people out there in front of others to show, hey, you don't have to be told that you're like, and I'm talking from a Hispanic sense, you don't have to be told you're an immigrant, you're illegal, or whatever it is. You can be successful. You can be the face of Nike. You can be, whatever else it is. It's always a good thing. And it also diversifies the voices because at one point, can you have, like, take gaming? If you don't have Hispanics in the game developer room, then how can you write believable Hispanic characters that are not leaning
Mm-hmm.
towards stereotypes? And that goes to all minorities, not just Hispanics, not just LGBTQ members or anything like that. When you can diversify, it just makes something so much better. And it makes me sad to see people fighting against that, especially in such a weird way. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
it's just Mr. Rock. I don't think that's gonna get. It's gonna rile up your base, but I mean, you're doing performance art to your base. You're not gonna
Yeah.
actually. You're not
Yeah,
getting
I'd say,
actual change.
let's be
Well,
honest, when's the last time
and
you've heard Kid Rock's name in national news?
When
yeah.
have you even heard
Anytime
a
it is,
song
it's
from Kid Rock?
I'm just
Well,
saying, he's relevant for the first time in how long?
In what way? You're supposed to be relevant
His
for your
name's getting
music,
out there.
not for nonsense.
No,
yeah.
I'm not saying.
Well,
I'm just saying. It's the first time I've heard his name in a conversation in the news or media in years.
yeah.
we just spent 10 minutes talking about Kid Rock.
That
There
is
you go.
true.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
I
I,
mean,
I just think it's so dumb too with, having coming off the school shooting stuff and, and to be bringing guns into like showing your being upset with the idea of someone trans being representing something is just it's also kind of in some ways invoking violence, I think, too, that we just don't need any more of. We don't need that in people's minds right now.
Add
That's
the
the
fact that
last thing we need.
if he was a responsible gun person, you really don't want to be shooting with water in the background because the
Well, who's
potential
gonna,
could
and
still
plus,
ricochet back. So that's kind
who's
of like
gonna clean up all that Budweiser glass? I'm
that's
like, who's
Yeah.
gonna? Mm-mm. Well, we're gonna move on. Matt,
eh,
what is your trending topic?
see I struggled with this one today because I've muted so much trash on social media that pretty much the two things trending on my phone right now are the Mario movie and Tears of the Kingdom. um, I mean, the only thing I'd say with the Mario movie is I'm seeing it this weekend, and as for Tears, it ain't out yet. Because I was actually going to bring up the Kid Rock thing, but Nike took care of that, which I wasn't expecting to go that route. Um, I, I have failed in the homework assignment apparently.
Well, what about Tears of the Kingdom?
I don't know.
Uh,
I'm just seeing a lot of stuff. While you're getting the people, it's the typical arguing. The new console they announced, it looks great, it looks ugly, blah blah blah. And then you also got the whole, I ain't gonna play because they still got weapons breaking. I think Breath of the Wild's the worst game ever because they had weapons breaking too. And it's like, it's okay if the game is not, everything they make doesn't have to be for you.
Hmm.
I mean, not, it's kind of thing. Like, someone makes it, you could be the world's biggest Zelda fan, but if Breath of the Wild didn't connect with you, this is a direct sequel. This isn't going to work for you either. And it's okay. It's perfectly fine to not like everything that whatever game maker makes. You could have grown up with a game, and if it doesn't appeal to you now, it doesn't appeal. It's fine. But everybody wants to get on their little keyboards and say, oh, "This is terrible. This is trash." Roar. Come on, it's a waste of time. It's if you want to have a serious conversation, anything. Sorry, I'm gonna get on my social media rant. How everyone will say whatever they want behind a keyboard. I'm talking about it on a video game, let alone other more important things in the world.
Well, and
Well,
and it's not
okay.
even out yet. Is the part that's just it's
No,
like
it's
I think my thing is that people who complain are still going to be the ones that's going to buy it. You
that's
know,
the thing. This is terrible. I'm not. This ain't going to be for me. They're going to cough up to $70, or unless they were special enough like me to pre-order when it was still only 60 before the price hike. But hey,
but this is an interesting thing. I wrote a piece about this on Boss Rush, about people who was just like, I'm not going to get an OLED, or I'm not going to get expansion pass, or I'm not going to do this. I'm like, Nintendo is good to entice you. They are very tempting and everything, because they could just put a product out. They could show you a little trailer, and it's going to be there. And you're going to go up and down. You're going to go to Target 5 times a week or whatever. And you're going to continue to see that Switch. You're going to continue to see that game. You're going to continue to see something that you are so against, but yet you give
going.
in,
Yep.
and you're going to buy it. Or you're going to regret that you didn't buy it. Because now you're going to be like, I have my stance that I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to give in. But Nintendo's just like, oh, you'll give in.
Just to let you
We
know about
know.
that expansion pass thing. I said I'll never buy this expansion pass. I still haven't bought it. It's not for me. I'll
Are
admit
you
that.
sure? Are you
Yeah, I have
sure?
no. What do I want on the expansion pass?
Well, this is me and Jack.
For me,
Shout out to Jack, bro. That we hung out this week, and we were talking about the article that we read about the expansion pass, getting it when it came out and not getting it. And I think what I like about expansion pass is, and that, just like you said, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fine. I think it's because they put a lot of Japanese games that we have not gotten here in America. That's one of the
I
benefits that I do
I,
like about
I
expansion
agree.
pass.
That's actually good. I mean,
And
that's a
I'm like,
great. I mean,
and
there's
like,
no Mother 3 on that. That might change my mind,
oh
but
shoot. But it's just like, but like I said, Nintendo is there to entice you. You know good and well. Yeah, you may not get it now, but we're gonna put something on there that's gonna hook you. Let's see game. I swear, if Dreamcast popped up out of the blue Friday and gave you 10 games, and Space Channel 5 is there, Soul Calibur is there, Power Stones is there. If they were here to give you the hits on Dreamcast, oh, you better believe somebody's paying the difference to get that mug. Oh, I got 7 systems now to pick from, and it's the
well,
Dreamcast. Oh,
yeah. But
they
a lot
when
of
they when they just put the GameCube version of Soul Calibur on first, just because of the fact you have Link in it.
well, Bandai Namco would sell that.
well, I think if they put Power Stones on there, people would get it just for that game alone. Considering it's like what $500 to buy that game for
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like, or it's more than that, maybe even it might even be closer to 1,000. I don't even know anymore.
Shoot, if they
It's so
put
expensive.
Soul Weaver on there, I'm just like, I would buy it. I mean, I already got
Yeah.
it,
Ooh,
but
that's a
if they
game I
put
haven't played in a
Soul,
long time.
oh, Soul Weaver is so good, and I played it on Dreamcast. The best way to play that game. Josh, any thoughts?
I mean, we can sit here and wish, but they're not going to put GameCube on NSO. I mean, they're making too much money with these remakes with Metroid Prime. I mean, you sprinkle out some Thousand Year Door at 30, 40 bucks.
That's the one that'll get me right there.
Yeah,
That game has that game not come back out? Surprise me. That is the best Paper Mario game. It is one of the best RPGs ever made.
well, and the thing too is like there's so many GameCube games out here that they're selling at regular. I mean, you put Sunshine in that 3D collection.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a Metroid Prime remake. I mean, with how successful Prime was, I don't. It's hard to imagine that a Prime 2 is not on its way at some point, which was also GameCube. People are clamoring for a Twilight Princess remaster on the Switch. I mean, they're not going to put the GameCube games on there, and if they do, they're going to be the buried ones. But I mean, I would
Well,
love
see,
for it to
So
be
you're saying
there.
are you saying they're not going to put Fire Emblem from the GameCube on there?
See, watch
I think
they
they
put that
will.
one out at $40. people will eat that one up. People will pay the full 40 for that.
Path of Radiance? Oh no. Path of Radiance would kill. Path of Radiance almost killed the series. Because that game is hard.
Yeah, but it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones that people they're getting the rosy-colored glasses again. I mean, when Wind Waker came out, nobody wanted that game, and now it's like people. It's at the top of lists.
It's a game of the year when it originally came out. That's the bunkers thing about it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I thought it was a great game back in 03 whenever it came out in the States.
I remember hearing those people, it looks like a cartoon. It's going to be a kid's game. I ain't playing that. Look at that game.
It got 9s and 10s across the board, and it became a lot of people's favorites.
It aged better than any Zelda game has ever aged.
Yep.
Because you could pick up the GameCube version 20 years later and not feel like, oh, these are outdated graphics. Sure, there's some smoothing that needs to be done on that, and the HD remake took care of that. But largely, that game looked just as good 20 years ago as it does now. It's kind of the same way with the SNES.
And this is the funny thing, because Sega started cell shading with Jet Set Radio. And it's just like Nintendo took the idea and just made it look like a cartoon, really smooth it out, put some good comedy in it, put some good design in it. And it's just like, anytime anyone talk about cell shading, Wind Waker comes up before Jet Set Radio. Even though Sega's the one that started using the
just because it was started doesn't mean they didn't perfect it. There's a lot of things were invented first by other people, but other people perfected it.
I do think, I'm hopeful at least, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Dreamcast make its way to NSO. But I'm like, GameCube, there's too much money to be made, in my opinion. I'm like,
this is the thing about it, because if they don't put GameCube on it, okay, I can understand, but you got Eternal Darkness that you need to get out. You got Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes you need to get out. Like, you got Mario Kart Double Dash that you need to get out. You know, there is some classics on GameCube that's never saw a re-release or the light of day. And if you don't think those coins are not going to be ready to be collected, you are out of your mind. If Nintendo Konami don't put out the Twin Snakes, I'm like, come on, Konami. Everybody is kind of slowly getting respect for you because you made some right decisions. Oh, people will pay you $40 to play Twin Snakes on Switch. Yeah, people will pay you good coin for that. You do a physical collector's edition. Oh yeah, that's good coin right there. You'll be in somebody's good graces.
I just wish they would remake the original Metal Gear. I just want a original Metal Gear remake, like an actual remake.
I've never played Metal Gear.
Oh, so it's a weird one. I can understand that, Jesse. Like, I think that would be something Sony would put some money in to do.
Metal Gear Solid. I mean, like the first Metal Gear Solid.
That's what Twin Snakes was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So that it's a remake of the original.
Yeah, Twin Snakes.
Oh, okay.
So Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes is a remake of Metal Gear Solid with new additional gameplay ideas and everything. But the original one on NES, because that was Ultra, that was the subsidiary of Konami.
Yeah.
If someone was gonna remake that one, Konami could do it, but I'd be like, that'd be something Sony should pay for if they want that exclusive. Like, the regular Metal Gear needs to be remade.
Yeah.
God, it's been a long time since I played that top-down Metal Gear.
Because the dog is asleep or something, or the soldier is asleep.
Well, that's like, God, I remember playing, Grand Theft Auto top-down, and then all of a sudden it becomes 3D, and it was just such a mind-blowing experience.
Beat that game on PC. Actually, I told Jesse this. I had the PC version, and I took the music from what was the rap station in Grand Theft Auto 3?
I forget.
Crap.
Yeah,
because it had
I
all
can
the
remember
Detroit rappers like Royce the 5'9", and some other ones. Game Radio. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So I had like Real Player. Uh, uh, this is how old school we going back in the 2000s, because Real Player was the other like music thing that you could do instead of Windows CD or Windows
but cool
Media.
people had Winamp, so
Kick the llamas ass, you know?
So I put in the game CD into Real Player, and all the files for the music came up. So when it had Game Radio, I downloaded it, and then I burned it onto a CD. So I would put Game Radio. I just only had a CD just for Game Radio. It would bump it in my car. The only problem was I couldn't skip any tracks because everything was connected and
yeah,
everything.
it was all one
Did
track.
it have the full song? Did you get the full song? Because technically in the game, you only got clips by the time they put the ad in a lot of times.
So for when I was doing it, they all had the whole songs or
Okay.
whatever they played. So it would start with the narrator, and then it would just switch on to songs, and then my
Okay.
CD ended. Yeah.
Huh.
So I was not a thief because I brought Grand Theft Auto 3, but the music, I found a way to bring it to life in my car. So, well, Josh, what is your topic thread?
Well, mine a little random, but I was looking for the most random because I think those create the most fun discussions. Pirates was trending earlier today, and a lot of the topics centered around the Pittsburgh Pirates baseball team and how they're actually good this year. But
No, they're not. I'm a Pirates fan. They still suck.
well, I feel bad for you. I'm a Dodgers fan, so anyway, well, we can never win it anyway. But sprinkled in there were talks of different kinds of pirates. How there was a pirate flag flying over the Harry Styles concert. People talking about One Piece. So I guess the topic I pulled out of that: who's your favorite pirate from movies, TV shows, video games?
Oh,
Favorite
I got an easy
pirate?
one on that one.
Who
Because I
is
played
it?
way too much Sea of Thieves, which has one of the greatest pirate crossovers of all time when they added Jack Sparrow into it for the Pirate's Life.
Oh, I love
Funny
Jack
thing
Sparrow.
with Sea of Thieves, which Jesse and Corey is still bogus for that. I fell asleep because I just got off of work. So me, Jesse, and Corey is playing Sea of Thieves, and I fell asleep. They pushed me off the ship and killed me. And when I woke up, their ship
Put you
was
in the
gone.
brig, didn't
And my thing was like game over because they was doing something, and I relaxed and I fell asleep. And the mugs pushed me off, and I died. I was just like, what in the world? And I don't remember what happened. All I know is that they left me. I died. I cut the game off. When I woke up next morning, I think we was talking for AX, Jesse, me, you, and Corey. And I was just like, what happened? I woke up and I was off the ship. I was like dead in the sea. And Jesse and Corey is balling out laughing because they're just like, we kicked you off because we was calling you and you didn't respond. So we just pushed you off the ledge and just let you die. And then we continued our adventure. Because I had just got done working like a 10-hour shift at work. Or I was working the whole day and I was just super tired. But I was just I literally was just like, you know what, I'm gonna be down with my crew, with my boys, and I'm gonna go sailing with them and just dead.
Yeah,
That
but
in
Ed, you don't fall asleep on the pirate's journey.
shoot,
Yeah, you
I
can't fall
was-
asleep on the Pirate's Journey.
No, I mean,
no, Jesse remembers we was playing what Halo, was it Halo 4 or Halo 5? I think it was Halo 5, and we was going up the elevator. Jesse's behind me. Jesse's like on the side. Corey's behind me, and we're going up this elevator. And for some unknown reason, Corey punched me with the gun, and I fell off the elevator and died. And I had to put the controller down and bawl out laugh because I was just like, what just happened?
We had so much fun. But
We was having so much fun, but I was just like, Corey, what you doing? Corey could not respond because he was cracking up. And Jesse we just were supporting him. I was just like, this is a mess.
Man, the Pirates Night isn't for you, Ed.
It's really not. I really don't know. Goodness.
Captain Hook? I don't know.
I got one. And this movie is long overdue for a remake. Have you guys remember that? Was it 2001, 2002 Treasure Planet?
Yeah,
the Disney
movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, so that's like an era of Disney that there's a lot of great underrated movies, but they're like kind of lost because the 90s have worn off and we haven't gotten to Princess and the Frog, Tangled, that era yet. But like we're talking like an era of like Emperor's New Groove, Treasure Planet, Atlantis, Brother Bear. These are all like, in my opinion, some very underrated Disney movies. But Treasure Planet's basically just Treasure Island, but in space.
Yep.
And it's really good. If you are looking for something to watch, like it's one of those ones that I watched it not that long ago, and I'm like, I don't remember this movie being as good as this is. And I'm like, with all these live action Disney remakes, like why can't Disney put Lucasfilms and remake this movie? I think it'd look amazing. But the pirate in there, the one who's playing Long John Silver, it's like a big alien with like a metal eye. Like he's got like a mechanical eye. I like the Long John Silver character in whatever movie it is, whether it's this one or I liked Tim Curry in Muppets Treasure Island.
Yes.
Where Tim Curry.
Yes, that's
where Tim Curry spent 2 hours thinking he was a Muppet. Like it's just, I don't know. I like that whole story from Treasure Island of the fact that, this is like a bad guy. Like Long John Silver's a bad guy. But the movie, the book, all these things, you kind of get the sense that he's not necessarily an all the way bad guy. I don't know. He comes to care for Jim anyway, but that's a whole different thing. But I think Long John Silver from Treasure Planet is probably my favorite version of it. But Tim Curry's pretty good in Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah, I would have to go with
Tim Curry
Captain,
always wins.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Captain Hook. From the
Which
Peter
one?
Pan. Peter
Which
Pan
version? The animated or the
animated
Hook?
one?
Yeah,
the animated one.
Or
I
for
like
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
But it was just always that, he was a little bit sassy in the animated one. And I always, just seeing the crocodile or the alligator just waiting for him to fall and him just dancing and everything. like as a kid, like when it came to pirates, Captain Hook always came to mind. So I'm going with Captain Hook for the animated Peter Pan movie.
Hot take, I don't think Captain Hook was the bad guy of that movie.
Who did you think it was? Tinkerbell?
I thought it was Peter Pan.
Wow, he's the hero.
Yeah.
I watched that movie as an adult, and I'm like, this little brat is sitting here letting Wendy drown because the mermaids want to play, totally ditching Wendy on all these things. And I'm like, so why did Captain Hook lose his hand in the first place? Like, it sounds like Peter. Yeah, it was just because of Peter. I'm like, this kid is a jerk. So as a kid, I thought Peter Pan, he's the hero and all this stuff. But when I watched it as an adult, I'm like, nope. Captain Hook does some things. He shouldn't be blowing up the children. I'll give him that. But I'm like, Peter Pan, kind of the villain in this one. There's your hot take, Ed.
Okay.
Yeah, they have those Zach Morris's trash videos. They should Peter Pan is trash.
What about you, Jesse?
Honestly, because it's one of my favorite movies of all times, I want to go with One-Eyed Willie from Goonies. even though
every time you see him, he's a skeleton.
Yeah, he's a skeleton. That's it. But But otherwise, I was thinking I could go as Sloth when he dresses up as a pirate, and he jabs the knife into the sail and like like goes sliding down it. but but like for a real one though, I really like Hook as well, but I like him in the movie Hook. Like
Yeah.
I really like that movie a lot. It's still one of my favorite adaptations of the whole Peter Pan story. Like I love the whole
Who
idea
did that
concept.
one?
Who
Because
directed it?
no, Disney didn't do Hook. They only did Peter
No.
Pan. Someone else did Hook.
It was
I'm hitting the.
yeah,
It was Spielberg. Spielberg did it.
okay,
Okay.
yeah, I
No
thought
wonder
so,
it was
but
okay.
Spielberg directed it.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it was Amblin Entertainment by default.
It's been a while
Okay.
since I've seen that, but I remember I really liked
This
Hook.
Hook is really, really good.
It's so good.
I need to
Yeah.
go back and watch that.
Come on, Bob
Yeah.
Hoskins as Smee is fantastic.
yeah. I love that character. And what's the dude that is it? Who's the guy that is his name Pennies? The guy who's the guy that loses his marbles? I forget.
It's Michael.
Is it? Oh, okay.
He lost his
Yeah.
marbles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. That's right. I always get them mixed up with the other guy. There's there's another older guy, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that movie
Right.
is
Have you
still-
guys
Where-
ever seen
okay.
Once Upon a Time?
No,
It's
I
on my
wanted to
list.
watch it.
You talking about the TV series?
Yeah, it's made by the creators or some of the writers from Lost, so it employs a lot of that element of flashback. So the first couple of seasons are really good, where you get a
And
lot
then
of flashbacks, and then it just got into a point where they're trying to bring in as many Disney characters as they can, and the story doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. But I would say probably the first half of that series was really good, and the Captain Hook in that show is actually I really liked that portrayal.
Yeah.
He's kind of a younger guy. They the main character Emma kind of makes fun of him because she's like, I'm kind of surprised you don't look like I would imagine you to. And he's like, well, what'd you imagine me look like? I don't know, big, like poofy, like she's describing the Captain Hook from the Peter Pan cartoon. And he's like, why would anybody dress like that? So they're kind of making fun of that a little bit, but he becomes a big role. The whole show is a lot about redemption and some of the bad guys trying to make a new life for themselves. And he's one of them. But I think that's an underrated portrayal of him that not a lot of people see. But I really like Lost is my favorite show. So seeing that show that followed that was very similar in presentation was like a lot of fun. So
I'll agree with you on that. Up until they shoehorned in Elsa, it
yeah,
was
that
good.
was and I mean they had a good season
funny
after that. But there was forcing some things, and then that last season we can all act like that doesn't happen. But and if you get there, you can skip the last season. Don't worry about that. You're not missing anything. But I mean, the first couple seasons were really good. There's this episode with Pinocchio where how he fits into all that, and oh my goodness, it was such a good episode of like very, the guilt that he had to live with for some stuff. And anyway, sorry to hijack that there, but that's a good show to check out if you're looking for good pirates as well as just a fun show. There's not much meat to it. It's just a lot of fun to watch.
Okay. Well, everybody, we're going to get into our Boss Rush Banter. And our topic today comes from Mad Pharmacist, aka Miss Stephanie Kilmoff. You can read her work on Boss Rush Net and also check her out on another Zelda podcast. Her topic was, when is it appropriate to receive a refund for a video game? And so the last game that came out was Pokemon Scarlet / Violet, and it has some issues, and people went to the stores and we kind of returned the game. I don't know how the digital returns happen with Nintendo, but people were upset on how broken the game was. Like it wasn't optimized in some places, and it had its problems. We know that Steam gives you a time limit on if a game is bad on when you can return it and get a refund. Normally with retail stores, if you open the game, the only thing that you can do is exchange it for the same thing. Or if they do allow you to exchange it for another game, sometimes you have to pay the difference, but you won't get any money back for it. So our that's our discussion today. When is it appropriate to return a game? Josh, I'm going to start with you. When do you feel it's appropriate to return a game?
Um, this is a tricky one just because, you know, Blockbuster has been a completely outdated concept for a long time, and I promise that you'll see how this relates. But I think Blockbuster would thrive with video games because I think there's a lot of instances where, yeah, we've got what is it, GameFly? Yeah, there's demos, but not everybody does demos. GameFly
Mhm.
is okay, but it's kind of hard to try out these games substantially to decide. It's either you got to buy it or and like it, or you can't. And when you kind of knock out the refund aspect of it, I think it makes it really hard to you know get into these games without it. So I mean, I think it's unfortunate that you can't have a smoother return way to go with this because of how little options there are to really try these out. But I think um, I don't know. I personally don't return games mainly because I do a ton of research to make sure it's going to be something I like
Yep.
before I get into it. There's very few games that I just go, oh, that looks good. Let me grab it. And they're usually like $10, $15 indie titles or maybe a game that's on a deep discount on an eShop or I find buried at GameStop or something like that. But yeah, if it's a big full price game, I'm not buying it unless I know, okay, I will like this game because I don't want to have to return it. So yeah, I don't think um, I think it's appropriate to return games, especially where in terms of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that game came out a mess, and I think there's a lot of people who were upset about it, and I think too that it's a hard thing because of how um, I think companies rely way too much on DLC now to kind of fix it in post production. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a weird question in my opinion, just because I don't personally return games. I usually play them and then trade them in. If I don't really like it, I try to get something out of it because I know I'm going to get a much smaller, buyback on it. So anyway,
That's why you go physical instead of digital.
well, no, I mean, I'm talking physical. There is when I
I know,
do.
that's what I'm saying. Go phys. That's why physical is better than digital most of the time.
Well, and that was like my big argument when I was shopping for a PlayStation 5 was the digital one was $100 cheaper, but I'm like, but I don't know what's good on a Sony console. I've never had one, so I'm like, I'm going to want to trade in at some point, and I can't do that if I'm buying games digitally.
Just
So,
just to let you know, if you want to try games that aren't day one, this is something I was going to bring up on my part of it. Is there's this thing, there's this public thing most areas have called a library. Our library has PS5, Xbox, and Switch games. So if you're trying to play something day one, you're not going to get to play it. I mean, as someone who worked in a video store, I always rented a game before I bought it to see if I was going to like it.
mhm,
Period. So, um, but you know, if you don't have to buy something day one,
right,
I mean, you can kind of look at reviews. I mean, all the reviews for Scarlet and Violet said this game broken. There's something under there. It's fun, but it's janky as hell.
right.
So,
Yeah, and I
I,
find the reviewers who I trust. I mean, I've got a Nintendo Life. I tend to trust them a lot on their stuff. Push Square a little bit. But yeah, I watch at least 3 or 4 reviews before I get to the one like before I'd make a decision on it. But yeah, the library thing. That's a new thing I did not realize until somebody brought it up. I think Daniel McGar off of the Turn by Turn podcast. He brought it up, and he's out in Boston, and he's like, "Yeah, they do that," and I'm like, well, I live in a smaller city. I don't think they do that here. Come to find out, there's Switch, Xbox Series games, and
Yep.
PS5 games at my library. And I'm like,
Yeah.
my town is about 30,000 people. It's not a big city. So that I love that those games are available at the library.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, long as you know that, I actually think you can personally. I'm fine with current return policies on games. If you buy a game before it comes out, you pre-order a game. Coming from a guy who has pre-ordered Tears of the Kingdom, you're kind of. I'm part of the problem. I'm sitting there saying, don't pre-order games. The biggest issue, I mean, you bought a game without trying it. Sorry, do you go buy a car without test driving it? That's the way I feel. But I mean, Xbox has a decent return policy. Steam has a decent return policy. Nintendo, you're kind of SOL for the most part. I don't know how PlayStations work. Steam and Xbox, as long as you don't pay too much. I've actually returned a game on Xbox, but that's only because I accidentally ordered online. I bought a digital version of a PC version on accident. Personally, I prefer physical, but I will go whichever route is cheaper. Because I got 3 kids and I have multiple mouths to feed. Especially as a government employee, I don't make much, but
I actually made out on the deal returning my game for Xbox. So what happened is Titanfall 2. I believe it was when Titanfall 2 came out. They when Titanfall 2 came out, they had a deal going where you got I think it was like a $30 gift card when you pre-ordered it online. And when I clicked on to order it, it just decided that it wouldn't notify me that it was being ordered, and it kept on doing that. And then eventually, I found out that I had ordered it multiple times, and so then I told them, I said, hey, I accidentally ordered this multiple times. I only need one copy of it, but just letting you know, when I ordered this online, it says that I was getting a $30 gift card with each one of these that I ordered. So just letting you guys know, so you know. So I did the right thing. I told them what happened. Sure enough, I still ended up getting the 5 $30 gift cards or whatever that you got, but I only got the one copy, paid for one copy of the game. They still let me have all the gift cards.
I might have to try that sometime next time somebody does. No, I'm kidding.
Wow. Well, I know
No,
for me, like returning the game, I think it's appropriate to return the game if it's like really freezing and it's like having bad optimization. Because like Mortal Kombat Trilogy on PlayStation 1, if you played it for like about 45 minutes, the game would go to another screen and it would say this game is not working and everything. And every time you did it, the screen came out, and to kind of find out it was a bug in the in the game that will always like break it, it mess it up. So going in to return it and stuff, like I could understand that. And if it showed that, there was a recall or something about the game, then it's very understandable to return it. But I'm like, I had people try to return games because they couldn't read. And I had people, when I was at Toys R Us, people tried to return games because they didn't understand, what to do. They got lost in the game. Like I had people return Lego games because they felt like the Lego game was too hard and stuff. And they were just like, this is so weird that you guys want to come in and return it. And I used to tell them that you can't return it. You have to schedule for the same game, or if you want to get a different game, it has to be more than what you pay, or it has to be equal amount and everything. So I just really think that reviews are important, that people need to go and read them, or nowadays watch videos, because some people don't like to read. Don't know why, but I think if you're going to return a game because you don't like it or you feel like it's not for you, if you don't prepare yourself or anything, or you don't take the time to actually really learn the game and everything, you kind of find out that it's just like, why? Why did you even buy this game if you knew that this game was not going to be for you? Go ahead, Matt.
The only big exception to the rule, and I will throw CD Projekt Red under the bus for this every time, they have specifically manipulated. All right, we know what they did. Do I even have to bring up the game, with Keanu Reeves? Do I have to even mention Cyberpunk? Come on. They knew it was broken on consoles. They intentionally manipulated it with all. They knew it was broken. They only let PC reviews out, and everybody gives them the pass. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, they fixed it 5 year, fixed it later." I mean, as someone who plays Sea of Thieves, the game wasn't what they wanted when it came out, but the game wasn't broken. They added more to it. But they also, at the same time, they didn't put out a PC version only. That was the only way it was playable. Well, it's still janky as shit, basically.
But
But
this is the
CG
thing.
Project,
This is the thing
but the
with
thing
C.
is, even I agree with you. But like when you look at reviews, I will always look at can't even say their name right. CD
CD
Projekt
Projekt
Red.
Red.
They intentionally manipulated the reviews of that game by
It
only
wasn't.
allowing the PC version to
It
be out.
wasn't.
They
It was
lie.
even. It wasn't even the reviews. It was just the demos that they were showing. Everything that they showed
Was
was not exactly gameplay.
they
Everything was
knew it was
always
broken.
CGI.
They
Yeah,
intentionally did not show the
the
console version
best
of the game.
the best version of that of Cyberpunk 20 when it came out was the Stadia version. Really, the cloud version is the best one. And
Yeah.
y'all hyped this up. You made this game look the way that what we was going to get, and I was just like, this is all CGI. There is no way that this
Yep.
game is playable. I'm not seeing no energy barcodes. I'm not seeing the stuff that would be normally on the screen. Everything that you're showing me is all CGI. This is
See,
not real
I
game.
didn't even
This is
pick up
not
on
real
that.
gameplay. But people gave it. I brought it because I was going to be a part of the discussion of if I'm going to judge it, I need to play it and see for myself. And everybody saw all the problems. Now I will say, I got Final Fantasy VII remake along with it. So Target had a good sale: buy two get one free. So I took
remember that
took
deal.
upon myself with that. But I was just like, I'm going to see how this game is. And I played it on the Xbox One Slim on it. And I could not believe on how janky this game was. Jesse
But
knows
look
when
at
I
all
say
the reviews. They initially only put out PC reviews, and a lot of them
mhm,
were like 9s and 10s.
Jesse knows when I call a game questionable content, he knows what I mean. And that game was full on questionable content. Jeopardy. Like, so you kind of understand why reviews are important, why even feedback, because I know Metacritic, they had to change their policy because
People review bombing.
people who weren't buying the games was just giving it low scores and just saying that this game was crap, and they didn't even buy it or play, and they were just like, well, now you gotta wait 72 hours if you want to do a review for it and everything. And it's just, and I think if you're going to return a video game, the return needs to be well deserved. You just shouldn't return a game because you don't
You don't
like
like
it
it.
without giving it a fair shake. If you should always try to, if a game is new to you and it's interesting, you need to pick it, and you're going to pick it up, you need to learn the game skill that is going to be offered. If you don't know the skill, there's always someone doing a tutorial about a game in that genre.
But you know what?
I don't
You know what we haven't gotten into the fact? If it's like, as long as it's not a Nintendo first party game, in 3 months it's going to be half off anyways. Just wait.
look. I don't play sports games, but I'm willing to give a sports game a try. Now, I love NBA Jam, love Forza Horizon 4, love Wreckfest, like Need for Speed games. Like, I love the arcadey stuff, but I got MLB The Show for Switch. Josh, no.
That's free on the Game Pass. What are you
Josh,
buying it on
no.
Switch for?
Josh know good and well if we went back to the N64 days of the wrestling games with THQ, we're going to be in a good conversation because those games were the bomb. You know, I played pro wrestling on the Sega Master System. I played Rocky on the Sega Master System. Ooh,
Wow.
I played Pat Riley on the Sega Genesis and beat it. Shoot, NBA 2K on Dreamcast, that's the game. NBA 2K on Dreamcast, that's the game. But like sports wasn't something that I was into, but I was willing to give it a try. SmackDown 2002 on PlayStation 2. My friends, speaking of making characters, Josh, my my friends made me a character that put me in a pastor suit, but I will walk down the aisle real sexy and then feel my body when I got into the ring and stuff. I was just like, y'all so wrong for this.
Well, what's funny is at that time there was Devon Dudley changed his gimmick to where he was like a pastor and Dave Batista was his like deacon. So he was like Deacon Dave.
Yeah, and get me the tables.
Yeah, so it was like they had just separated the Dudleys. So Bubba Ray went to Raw, and Devon stayed on SmackDown. And then it's like Dave Batista, before he became the Dave Batista that everybody knew, he was like this. He was this Deacon Parish with no sleeves on, mind you, and he's like carrying chains and carrying a collection box. And so, what's funny about what you're saying, Ed, is like that was totally a gimmick in 2002 on SmackDown.
Yeah,
and they just made you have it.
Goldust had that interest walk, so that's what they mixed me with.
Oh my
goodness,
Goldust.
And I would pick them. I was just like, what did y'all got? What did my friends do? And I would be like, oh my goodness. And they would just fall out and laugh. I was just like, this is so wrong. And everything.
And
but
speaking of THQ, they're doing another wrestling game for AEW. I forget what it's called, but AEW's first game, THQ is the one behind it.
Yeah.
So I think it's supposed to come out. It's got caught up in some legal stuff right now because it was supposed to come out earlier this year, but it's gotten like indefinitely delayed. I think they're hoping to get it out in the fall sometime. But yeah, that I was excited to see.
Wasn't it something about somebody's tattoos?
I think so.
Yeah.
About likeness.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Because AEW is, and they don't have the resources that WWE does. AEW is only 3 years old at this point, 4 years old. So WWE can pay off whatever they need to.
Well, definitely can now.
Yeah. After that deal, I should have done that for my trending topic.
Well, everybody, that's going to be it for a jump off point. Before we go, I'm going to give everybody a last final word. Matt, what is your final word for returning video games?
Just buyer beware.
Okay.
Just Jesse, straight up, I mean.
Jesse, final word about returning video games.
Yeah, so for me, it's just like if something's broken, or like I've actually had to return a game because of the disc being corrupt, and it just literally, the disc was like when they printed the disc, it somehow printed it wrong, and the disc wouldn't properly work. So I like literally couldn't play the game with the disc that I had purchased. So I had to get a new one. So something like Josh, that happens. Yeah, just something like that.
Josh, final word about returning video games.
This is where Blockbuster is missed. And I mean, we were talking about it. Matt was saying the library does have options to rent games, and there are demos. But Blockbuster, that was my go-to back in the 2000s of when I wanted to try out a game. I just would drive down to my Blockbuster and get it. I'm missing that today. It's obsolete for movies, but it would be absolutely beneficial for games at this point. It'd be so nice to have that, but here we are.
Yeah, GameFly with Redbox. They get like GameFly, like the whole Redbox thing that we have. They just need to do that. Like, honestly.
Yeah, honestly,
bad
just stick
games they
like
got
a
out.
just
Well,
stick a little thing at the gas station, or you could go pick up some games where it's just a Blockbuster game box. I'd be all in.
Yeah.
well,
They can take my money.
For me, definitely read reviews. I know a lot of people want to be like, well, just try it on Game Pass, and if you like it, go ahead and buy it or play the full thing on Game Pass. It's up to you. But I think when it comes to returning games, um, learn. I think you should learn it. If it's a really good game and you just feel like it's not for you, I can understand doing a return for that, but just like Matt said, buyer beware. Read the reviews. We do reviews here on Boss Rush. There's video essays, video reviews from like GameSpot, IGN. Listen to some podcasts on people who are playing the game, and you don't have to get a game on day one. You can get it later down the line if you're ready for it, or you're ready for all the patches that's coming on with some of these games nowadays. Like, you could wait for it. If you want the physical version, you may have to get a little bit early because sometimes they stop making printing those physicals, and you'll just be left with digital. It's up to you. But yeah, just inform yourself, inform and educate yourself with it. Before we go, Matt, can you talk about Backlog Busters, your
Oh,
podcast?
Backlog Busters is typically a monthly podcast. We're a little overdue to record right now because we're trying to get some scheduling squared away. Where we encourage you to, instead of going and spending money and buying Tears of the Kingdom, which everybody's doing it anyways, work on your backlog. Beat those games you haven't had for a while. We have a competition. We have a little game going on with it, with the Backlog Bingo, where there's a bunch of squares. If you follow backlog_busters on Twitter, you can find that information. So yeah, basically everyone in there beats games. I just build my backlog because that's just how it goes. Because I just end up trying to beat something, then I get wrapped up in Stardew Valley or Sea of Thieves, or now Dredge. So you got that going on. So that's listen to a bunch of old guys bitch about not doing their backlog. That's about all I can say.
Well, Matt, thank you for joining us on this episode. Jesse, Josh, thank you also for joining me. Everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Jump Off Point. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 This episode of Jump Off Point is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the Boss Rush family of podcasts, head to bossrush.net or our Patreon at patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for helping us build something better.